Okay, Sisters and Zatima fans, I was reading through the comments on a recent upload. Why do the new writers hate Zach and Fatima? And the comment section blew up. I think there's close to like 60 or 70 comments on the video when I uploaded it. What was it, last night or this morning? And there were a couple of comments that stood out to me, and I wanted to talk about them in this video here. And this username is a bunch of letters and numbers like TF9, 7U, but I'm just going to read it and give my response. And the second comment is the one I really want to talk about, so please hang tight because the title isn't meant to be misleading. I will be covering that particular subject about the cast. All right. From reading comments and your commentary, do you think their popularity and love from fans could hit a personal chord with one or more of the writers? Hear me out. Both Deval and Crystal are popular and loved outside of Sistas. They both spread positivity in their personal lives. Even you had Zatima rated number 1 and Sistas number 3 for your Tyler Perry 2023 shows. Hey, thanks for remembering that because I sure don't. When I ranked, yeah, that's something I always do. At the end of each year, I look at Tyler Perry shows and movies, only the ones I've actually watched, and then I rank them based off of, okay, this season, I put it number 2, or the Oval, I put it dead last, whatever the case may be. Jealousy and envy can raise its ugly head anywhere. Their personal lives portray real people who have real love. Okay, sorry about that. Some of these words are misspelled. Their personal lives portray real love for people, period. The Keep It Positive Sweetie podcast, as well as what Deval shows as a father, husband, and friend, comes through and draws people to them. During various interviews about their chemistry, it was the hard work they put in to develop their characters. Here's the conflict. It was their work, not the writers. Fast forward to Sisters and what they're showing now. Even with less screen time, they bring it every time. No matter how small the scene, they make fans fast forward to it. That's been something since like season 3 or 4. I remember fans specifically saying, man, you know what? Bump the whole Gary Andy stuff and the Calvin and Sabrina stuff. I just fast forward to the Zach and Fatima portions of the episode because prior to season 5, Zach and Fatima fans would just love to get to those 2 to 3 minute scenes of them. Even if they are together on screen, just having them talking on the phone, it made the other 37 minutes of agony worth it just to see that. Okay, back to the comment. That says a lot and can cause tension in the writer's room. Just my opinion. No one has to agree or disagree, not trying to debate anyone. And that's fair. I love comments like this because you give your thoughts and opinions and it's open for anyone to give their response to it. I don't know if I fully agree. But then again, I don't sit in these meetings. I don't know what's going on through the minds of these writers, but I don't really know if there's a personal vendetta from one or more of the writers to ruin Zatima as a couple. Now, this is just me from the outside looking in because I'm just trying to make sense of it as well. I feel like maybe Zatima was too strong of a couple that the writers had to force in some sort of drama because they weren't able to write at the level to appeal to the fans. And a lot of people have been saying that, these new writers seem to be Team Karen more than Team Fatima. And in some ways, I kind of sort of see that. But again, I don't know. Like I said before, I'd love to interview one or more of the writers, but only after season 7 is over. That way I won't have to worry about, withholding certain questions because hey, I can't do an interview during the hiatus period of season 7A to season 7B because I feel like if I asked a certain question, they would say, oh, well, you got to wait until the back half of the season. It's like, no, I want to know now. So that's why I said if I do interview any of the writers, I want to wait until the season 7 finale. I don't really think that there's a jealous thing here in terms of the writers because that doesn't really add up to me. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's it. I feel like even before the new writers came, Tyler had a long streak of ruining the Zach and Fatima dynamic. Like I said, season 5, worst incarnation of Fatima. And sad to say, but season 7 is turning out to be the worst incarnation of Zach so far, which is even worse than Fatima because we had so much good stuff from his character in season 6. Well, season 5, most of season 6. I say most because his reaction to Karen's death was hard to swallow. Then into Zatima with the therapy and whatnot. So yeah, I just feel like I don't think there's a out to get you mentality from the writers. At least I don't think so. Like I said, it's just my opinion, but very nice comment. Now here is the true comment that inspired me to do this particular video because yeah, it does have a lot of responses here and likes from Monty Harris 2281. Do you think there is some jealousy from other actors towards Zach and Fatima? All right, so I want to isolate this to specifically the cast of Sistas. And I want to give a disclaimer here of yet again, I know some of these people. I've talked with most of these people. But I don't know what goes down all the time because I'm not there. They're in Atlanta when they were there filming. And like they said in talk show interviews and whatnot, they go on vacation sometimes, but they don't always post it. So these cast members, to me, are like a family. And it seems to be the vibe they give off, not just to the general public, but, just themselves in general. So if there's sort of like any sort of behind the scenes beef or drama, I don't know. Honestly, I honestly don't even care about that. I just know that I like what I've seen from their chemistry in interviews. And I remember saying for the longest time, like, dang, the Sistas cast, their chemistry and whatnot during certain interviews comes through more naturally than when they're on screen in the actual show. But on top of that, I want to kind of address certain things here in regards to what the jealousy could be and how fans are responding. So there are several responses to this particular comment. Like, oh yeah, deep down jealousies. After all, Zach do not look like... Oh, wait, I'm not reading that comment. That seems to be a bit too graphic. Interesting. I would say it's possible they got their own show and became the real draw of Sistas. Zatima's the only reason I came back to watch Sistas because that first season wasn't it. But season 2 only got better because of Zach and Fatima and the drama forming with Karen. Somebody actually left a pretty good comment. No, I don't think there's jealousy amongst the cast, but the writing is what's stirring the pot by making them not be the couple we fell in love with. Where's the Zach and Fatima we know? Take Karen out of the picture, move on, and give her a new man and a new life. Some people say probably. Some people say facts. I don't think that cast... Okay, here's my thing. Even if there's some deep-seated resentment towards Zach and Fatima because of their success on the show as well as their spinoff, I don't think that influences the writer's decision. At first it was Tyler, and then it's the new writers. Here's why. When I look at the new show, even though it's still Sistas, I look at season 7 as the reset button, a new show, time skipping everything. Aside from Danny going to therapy, I don't think the other characters have been written in a way to make them shine while people are upset about Zach and Fatima's downfall. Andy has become just super insufferable, even worse than when she was with Gary, because she's withheld key information from Jordan about his sister's whereabouts that now makes him mistrust her. And plus their relationship started out with the flimsiest of foundations, given the fact that I'm pretty sure Jordan still doesn't know a lot of details about the way that she and Gary hooked up in the first place, in the affair and everything. On top of that, when you look at Sabrina, in some ways I feel like she got better, but the whole baby mama thing, being her own, having a baby by herself, being, having baby fever, I don't think that's a super compelling story to the level of a Zach and Fatima. And another thing is, even though the ladies have new men, none of them, in terms of their pairings, Andy, Jordan, Danny, Tony, Sabrina, Rich, none of them can hold a candle to Zach and Fatima. None of them can. So you could argue like, man, this was our show. It was just us four sisters doing our thing. Then Zach and Fatima took over the show. Now, why did they get a spinoff? Why didn't Sabrina and Calvin get a spinoff? Why didn't Danny and Preston get a spinoff? I don't know. I don't really think that that sort of, like I said, I'm not a mind reader. I mean, maybe those thoughts cross somebody's mind, but regardless, when you're on the outside looking in, I look at it from the perspective of because Zach and Fatima are doing so well, that's the only reason Sisters has lasted as long as it did. And I've been preaching this since season 3. I said, look, Fatima was like the Steve Urkel. She came in, had a small role, fans loved her, and she became like the main draw. Same thing with like, there have been plenty of shows like that where a character or a show like Good Times and Good Times and Family Matters are perfect examples because ironically enough, both shows were spinoffs. Like, wasn't Good Times a spinoff of All in the Family with Florida being a maid or something on that show? And then Family Matters, Harriet worked as an elevator operator in Perfect Strangers, and then Family Matters became a thing. So basically, the black female characters had their own spinoffs about their respective families. And you got JJ, who was like the Urkel of his day on Good Times. And there was some resentment there about how the show became more about the buffoon character as opposed to a strong, united black family. And then on Family Matters, it went from like a blue collar black family Cosby show kind of show to focusing on Steve Urkel. But in reality, if it wasn't for Urkel, Family Matters probably would have only lasted 1 or 2 seasons because the ratings were But when Steve Urkel became a main factor, boom, merch and everything. Just the Urkel dance was the Soldier Boy, the Gundam style of its time. And some cast resented it. I mean, how many times have we seen different cast reunions at conventions or, Variety, Hollywood Reporter? Like, there was a time where they had, like, Family Matters, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Blossom, a bunch of those 90 or late 80 shows where the cast would come out. And how many times? Yeah, I mean, you got, like, Where Are They Now? And Behind the Music and so many other different documentary or interview shows where fans are made aware of certain tensions behind the scenes, or hey, here's why this actor left the show after only 3 seasons because they had a beef with the director or they didn't like the direction of the show or the characters. So that could be happening, but we don't know about it. But I don't think it really matters because when you look at it from the business perspective, I don't think Sisters would have lasted 7 going on 8 seasons without the popularity of Zach and Fatima because the other characters are just kind of boring and repetitive and stale. But I don't know if I would say that jealousy from any actors, if this is the case, had any influence on how Zach and Fatima are being written now in the present. I just think if nothing else, Zach and Fatima were written so good that it's like, yo, we gotta put in some drama because if not, what are we gonna write about? So that's why they're going through the same BS now, which I feel is a ridiculous premise for why that will be inserted into it. But it goes back to one of those behind the scenes. I remember watching, or what is it, Hollywood True Stories, Saved by the Bell. And I remember watching this way back in the day. And one of the writers for the show said, I know fans were mad because like, Zach and Kelly, why did you break them up? Why did you break them up? It's like, well, if Zach and Kelly are a couple, then there's no more story. So they had to, insert drama, break up, this, that, and the third. But with Zach and Fatima, I think why it really hurts a lot of viewers is the fact that there aren't that many strong black couples on television. Positive black couples on television. Neither of them are perfect. Yeah, they come with their different baggage, their different forms of baggage. But at the same time, it was a way to show fans like, oh, you know what? Yeah, not all black relationships are toxic, and some that are toxic, we see the characters grow as a pair through these obstacles, heal, learn, and love one another until they become a good couple, you know? So I do feel like, you know, in terms of, yeah, well, Karen felt some kind of way, or, you know, Ebony felt some kind of way about Zach and Fatima, and that's why the writers are, you know, giving her one up on Fatima by having twins, and one of them is being Zach's, and is always going to be dragging the relationship down. No, I don't think there's any of that going on at all, because I feel like even Tyler, it's like, you know, whenever fans want something, 9 times out of 10 we don't get it. Because I feel like that's his way. It's like, yeah, you know what? The fans are going to watch hoping I do this, but guess what? I'm going to do this instead. But no, I don't think there's any sort of negative impact on the writing due to behind the scenes or, you know, festering jealousy of the cast towards Zach and Fatima. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I don't know what goes on, but it just seems to me that because the fans love Zach and Fatima, that's what helps Sistas thrive. And if Zach and Fatima left the show, I highly doubt Sistas would continue to get the ratings that it does now. I feel like everybody would just, you know, get on the lifeboats, sail over to the Zatima ship, that series on BET Plus, and Sistas would sink. That's just my thoughts on it. Regardless of how some people feel, that's the reality. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, this isn't meant to stir the pot. Oh, Jeremy said, Novi doesn't like Chris. No. I am reading the comments on my YouTube video, and I'm giving my responses towards it. So with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.